First, I want to preface my statement by acknowledging, the farm worker history, farm worker contributions to not only District 2, but Modesto, California, American society. And I mean, my grandfather immigrated from Mexico in the 60s. Before that, he was working as a migrant farm worker throughout the Central Valley. They settled in the west side of Modesto around 1969. I've been here ever since. I think it's important to highlight that and to not forget roots. But I'm Mexican American. I haven't spent a day in the fields working. Doesn't take away from my history, my family's history, my roots. So I want to pay respect to that. I think oftentimes you get the advocacy coalitions advocating for farm workers, and that's respectable. I mean, probably even our city attorney has a background in that too. I mean, we've all been acclimated and ingrained into American society, and oftentimes we carry those memories, we carry that pride in all of our work. But I think the larger ethos of District 2 is more aligned around 4th Street Park. Even if you name it Dinosaur Park, 4th Street Park is not what it was, it's what it is. People still call it that, regardless of Cesar Chavez, regardless of whatever name you want to put there. Colloquially is known as 4th Street Park. So I want to acknowledge and appreciate the city's approach in handling this process. And the city acted swiftly and deliberately by convening a special Culture Commission meeting, as was mentioned, followed by a community workshop in partnership with the West Modesto Community Collaborative. And we had an open public input process and period. And that effort, along with the formal solicitation of community feedback, reflects a commitment to transparency and to ensuring residents had a meaningful voice in this decision. The Culture Commission ultimately narrowed down, as was mentioned again, to 3 names: 4th Street Park, Cesar Pueblo Park, Farm Worker Park, each reflecting a different dimension of our community's history and values. After reviewing the input and reflecting on what best aligns with community identity and continuity, I support the name of 4th Street Park. I grew up boxing there at the Maddox Youth Center when I was like 7 to 13. I call it Maddox. I don't even call it Park. I call it Maddox. That's what I personally know it as. And my reasoning is simple. This is the name the community has already used for generations. Long before the park was renamed in the early 2000s, residents referred to it informally as 4th Street Park. So restoring that name does not erase history, it grounds the space in a geographically neutral, locally rooted identity that belongs to everyone, regardless of perspective or background. I don't just represent District 2 as a Latino district, I represent District 2 African Americans that live there. We had the NAACP here today, Cambodian folks that live there, Caucasian American people that live there, Latinos, 1st generation, 2nd generation, 3rd generation like me, 4th generation, Mexican Americans, not just Latinx or whatever term. While I respect the significance behind the Cesar Pueblo Park and Farm Worker Park, I believe 4th Street Park best reflects the true ethos and practicality of how this space is known. And it offers a stable, inclusive reference point moving forward. So I'm in support of 4th Street Park, but I also want to take this moment to thank staff, the Culture Commission, and all the residents who participated in this process. This has not been easy, but the structured public engagement demonstrates a strong model for how the city of Modesto moves forward together as a community. And I also want to highlight what my colleague, Councilmember Ricky, explained earlier about the overwhelming support for 4th Street Park on social media. Social media is the new public square. A lot of those folks that attended the Culture Commission, I thank them for taking the time out of their day to participate in that in-person process. But I mean, the people have spoken, and I think we're trying to dance around it, but the reality is people call it 4th Street Park. And you can have a small group of folks who know how to have communications tactics and strategies perform overwhelmingly louder than 12,000 silent people or people who don't have a platform. And I think the organization behind the other two names it's valid. But I think that was a coordinated, organized effort from a coalition that meant well, but that doesn't take away from the reality that the true ethos of the larger community has known it, knows it, and likely will continue calling it 4th Street Park regardless of what we name it today. So I'm in support of 4th Street Park, Mayor. I appreciate my time. Thank you.
You're welcome. Councilmember Escudi.